What if I told you that the innocent-looking food you had for breakfast this morning could be silently destroying your joints? In fact, there are 5 common foods that millions of people eat daily that are literally causing inflammation, breaking down cartilage, and making joint pain worse. Number 2 on this list is in 90% of American households right now, and number 1 will shock you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fit Life Junction. If you're dealing with joint pain, arthritis, or morning stiffness, this video could be a game changer for you. Today we're exposing the 5 worst foods for your joints, foods that are scientifically proven to increase inflammation and accelerate joint damage. I'll also give you healthier alternatives for each one, so make sure you stick around until the end. Before we dive into our list, let's quickly understand why certain foods can destroy your joints. It all comes down to inflammation. When you eat inflammatory foods, your body produces compounds called cytokines. These are like tiny messengers that tell your immune system to attack. Now, normally inflammation is good, it helps you heal from injuries. But when you're constantly eating inflammatory foods, your body stays in a state of chronic inflammation. This is when your immune system starts attacking healthy tissue, including the cartilage in your joints. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism shows that chronic inflammation from diet can increase joint destruction by up to 300%. That's not a typo, 300%. The foods we're about to discuss all share one thing in common. They trigger this inflammatory cascade that leads to joint pain, stiffness, and eventually permanent damage. Now, I've ranked these foods from bad to absolutely devastating for your joints. Some might surprise you because they're marketed as healthy. But don't worry, for every joint-destroying food I mention, I'll give you a delicious, joint-friendly alternative that you can start using today. Coming in at number 5, refined vegetable oils. We're talking about soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, and sunflower oil. These are hiding in almost every processed food you buy. Here's the issue. These oils are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. Now, your body needs some omega-6, but the average American gets 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3s. This creates a massive imbalance that triggers inflammation throughout your body. A 2016 study in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that diets high in omega-6 oils increased inflammatory markers by 40% in just 4 weeks. Another study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that people who consumed the most vegetable oils had significantly higher rates of rheumatoid arthritis. These oils are everywhere: salad dressings, mayonnaise, chips, crackers, restaurant food, even in foods labeled heart healthy. Most restaurants use these cheap oils for cooking because they're inexpensive and have a long shelf life. When you consume these oils, they get incorporated into your cell membranes. This makes your cells more prone to inflammation and less able to repair themselves. Your cartilage cells, called chondrocyte, become damaged and can't produce the healthy cartilage matrix your joints need. Swap these out for anti-inflammatory oils like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. These contain compounds that actually reduce inflammation and support joint health. Number 4 might make you rethink your lunch choices: processed meats. We're talking about deli meats, hot dogs, bacon, sausages, and pepperoni. Processed meats contain 3 major joint destroyers. First, they're loaded with advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These compounds literally age your joints from the inside out. Second, they contain high levels of sodium and preservatives like nitrates, which increase inflammation. Third, they're often high in saturated fats that promote inflammatory pathways. A massive study published in the Annals of Rheumatic Diseases followed over 25,000 people for 15 years. They found that people who ate the most processed meat had a 40% higher risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis. The researchers concluded that just 1 serving of processed meat per day significantly increased inflammatory markers. When you eat processed meats, your body produces inflammatory compounds called prostaglandins. These directly attack your joint tissues, causing swelling, pain, and cartilage breakdown. The high sodium content also causes your body to retain water, putting extra pressure on your joints. Be careful, processed meats hide in many foods. Lunch meats, pizza toppings, canned soups, frozen dinners, and even some restaurant salads contain these inflammatory proteins. Choose fresh, unprocessed meats like grilled chicken, wild-caught fish, or grass-fed beef. If you need convenience, look for nitrate-free options, or better yet, prepare your own proteins in batches. Number 3 is something that's literally addictive: refined sugar and high fructose corn syrup. This includes obvious sources like candy and soda, but also hidden sugars in seemingly healthy foods. When you consume refined sugar, your blood glucose spikes rapidly. This triggers the release of inflammatory cytokines and creates advanced glycation end products, the same compounds that age your joints. High fructose corn syrup is even worse because it's processed differently by your liver and creates more inflammatory byproducts. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who consumed just one sugary drink per day had inflammatory markers that were 87% higher than those who didn't. Another study published in Arthritis Care and Research showed that women who drank one or more sugary sodas daily had a 63% increased risk of developing arthritis. Sugar doesn't just cause inflammation, it directly damages your cartilage. When sugar molecules bind to proteins in your cartilage, they form irreversible bonds that make your cartilage stiff and brittle. This process, called glycation, is one of the main reasons why diabetics have higher rates of joint problems. Sugar hides under 56 different names on food labels. Watch out for high fructose corn syrup in bread, ketchup, salad dressings, and yogurt. Even foods marketed as healthy, like granola bars, fruit juices, and flavored yogurts can contain 20 to 30 grams of sugar per serving. Here's what makes this worse: sugar is literally addictive. It triggers the same reward pathways in your brain as cocaine. So the more you eat, the more you crave, creating a cycle of inflammation and joint damage. Satisfy your sweet tooth with whole fruits, which contain fiber and antioxidants that help reduce inflammation. Use natural sweeteners like stevia or monk fruit, and gradually reduce your overall sugar intake. Number 2 is shocking because it's a staple food in most households: refined grains and gluten-containing foods. We're talking about white bread, pasta, crackers, cereals, and baked goods. Refined grains have had all their fiber and nutrients stripped away, leaving pure starch that acts like sugar in your body. They have a high glycemic index, meaning they cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin, triggering the same inflammatory cascade as refined sugar. But there's another problem: gluten. Even if you don't have celiac disease, gluten can trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals. A 2017 study in the journal Nutrients found that 30% of people with joint pain had elevated antibodies against gluten, suggesting an immune reaction. Gluten can damage your intestinal lining, creating what's called leaky gut. This allows partially digested food particles and toxins to enter your bloodstream, triggering system-wide inflammation that affects your joints. Research published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry showed that gluten consumption increased inflammatory markers by 50% in sensitive individuals. A groundbreaking study in the Journal of Rheumatology followed 200 people with rheumatoid arthritis. Those who eliminated gluten from their diet had a 41% reduction in inflammatory markers and significant improvements in joint pain and stiffness within 12 weeks. Modern wheat is very different from ancient grains. It's been hybridized to contain higher levels of gluten and inflammatory compounds. This is why many people who can't tolerate modern wheat can eat ancient grains like einkorn or spelt without problems. Choose whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, and oats. Try ancient grains like amaranth and buckwheat. If you must have bread, look for sprouted grain options or almond flour alternatives. And here's our number 1 joint destroyer: trans fats and margarine. This is the absolute worst thing you can put in your body if you have joint pain. Trans fats are artificially created by adding hydrogen to vegetable oils. They were invented to make foods last longer on shelves, but they're literally poison for your joints. Margarine is loaded with these compounds along with many processed foods. The research on trans fats is absolutely damning. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that people who consumed the most trans fats had inflammatory markers that were 400% higher than those who avoided them. Another study published in the American Journal of Epidemiology showed that trans fat consumption increased the risk of developing arthritis by 250%. Trans fats don't just cause inflammation, they actively interfere with your body's ability to produce anti-inflammatory compounds. They get incorporated into your cell membranes, making them rigid and dysfunctional. Your joint cells can't repair themselves properly, and inflammation spirals out of control. Even though trans fats are mostly banned, they still hide in foods. Anything with partially hydrogenated oil contains trans fats. Watch out for some margarines, shortening, fried foods, baked goods, and microwave popcorn. Here's something that will blow your mind: there is no safe amount of trans fats. Even tiny amounts cause significant inflammation. The World Health Organization has called for the complete elimination of trans fats from the food supply because they're so harmful. Use real butter from grass-fed cows, ghee, or coconut oil. These natural fats actually support joint health and provide essential fatty acids your body needs. Here's what's really scary: most people eat multiple foods from this list every single day. Imagine starting your day with toast and margarine, having a sandwich with processed meat for lunch, snacking on crackers, and having pasta for dinner. You're creating a perfect storm of inflammation that's destroying your joints 24/7. Joint damage from these foods doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that can take years or even decades. By the time you feel pain, significant damage has already occurred. The good news is that your body has an amazing ability to heal when you give it the right tools. Think of it like a bucket filling up with water. Every inflammatory food you eat adds water to the bucket. When the bucket overflows, that's when you experience pain, stiffness, and joint problems. By eliminating these foods, you're not just stopping the water from flowing and you're actually draining the bucket. I've seen countless people eliminate these foods and experience dramatic improvements in their joint health. Many report reduced pain within just 2 to 3 weeks, and some are able to reduce or eliminate their pain medications with their doctor's guidance. I challenge you to eliminate these 5 foods for just 30 days and see how you feel. Keep a journal of your pain levels, stiffness, and mobility. I guarantee you'll be amazed at the difference. So there you have it, the 5 worst foods for your joints. Trans fats and margarine take the crown as the most destructive, followed by refined grains and gluten, then sugar and high fructose corn syrup, processed meats, and refined vegetable oils. Each of these foods creates inflammation and accelerates joint damage in its own unique way. Here's what I want you to do right now. Go to your kitchen and check your pantry and refrigerator. Look for these 5 categories of foods and make a plan to eliminate them. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one category and focus on that for a week, then move to the next. Remember, every meal is an opportunity to either heal your joints or harm them. The choice is yours. Your joints have been carrying you through life. Isn't it time you started taking care of them? If this video opened your eyes to the foods that might be causing your joint pain, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more evidence-based health content. What food from this list surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Don't let another day go by eating foods that are destroying your joints. Your future self will thank you for making these changes today. Here's to pain-free, healthy joints. Check out this video next where I reveal the top 3 vitamins that can heal your joints naturally, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.